Hey there, and welcome back to Sleeve M. If you're new to my channel, I had the gastric sleeve bariatric weight loss procedure on January 9th of 2018, and in today's video I was lucky enough to be tagged by one of the fellow YouTubers, NuMi. If you're not familiar with her, she had the Ruined Y gastric bypass. She's doing fantastic. She's looking great. I highly recommend watching her videos. She has a lot of fun on there and gives a lot of good inspiration. So I'm going to answer the questions that she had asked, and I was really excited because I felt like these questions really were great, and they really gave me a good background of NuMi, and so this is what I decided. Oh, and I'll also link her video either up top or down below, whichever one I can figure out. So the first question is, when did you start gaining weight? This one, I feel like I've always been overweight. I really don't remember a time in my life. I do look at some of my, when I was 3 or 4 years old, I was probably average weight, but it did not take long into elementary school to become a bigger girl. And probably the first area, or the first I really noticed it, was I was in swim team growing up, and my arms were always bigger than the other girls, and I remember kind of like waving it in the air, like the flat, and one of the girls was like, ew, and that's when I knew that I was bigger than the average girl. So pretty much all my life. So the second question is, were you an emotional eater? This one I actually think about all the time because I feel like prior to surgery I was definitely an emotional eater. Definitely stress would make me eat. Now that I've had this surgery, I have not really let into those temptations yet, and I actually feel like I'm not an emotional eater anymore. I feel like when I have a stressful situation, I do the 4-7-8 breathing, or I get up and walk around, or I go outside, something like that, and that's how I've been coping with my emotions. So prior to surgery, yes, I was an emotional eater, but I was also an eater when I was bored, when I was super happy. I mean, anytime I was always ready to eat. Where now, I don't think it's as much of a case, and I'm not sure if that's going to change. I watch a lot of people that are a little bit further out, and they sometimes complain about emotional eating, but so far, I've been doing really well with it. I'm pretty proud of myself. The third question is, how long have you been dieting? I'm pretty sure I don't remember a time in my life where I wasn't trying to be on a diet. Probably when I was in like elementary, middle school, I'm Catholic, and so for Lent we had to give up something every year, and every year I always chose a food item because that's really what I struggled with the most. That's what I wanted the most, and that is what would be most difficult for me to give up. When I was in college, though, is probably when my diets really started. That's where I tried the Weight Watchers. We did like the cabbage soup diet, the low carb. It wasn't until I was in a dorm with a lot of other girls where dieting became so important. But I did, when I was in probably middle school, high school, I did see a nutritionist, they were trying to help me out with my diet. So I think all my life I was dieting, but honestly I didn't do very good. And then it asked if I'm following any specific diets. I am doing probably around 30 grams of carbs, net carbs a day, and then I try to do between 65 and 80 grams of protein. I have thought about starting the ketogenic diet because I read that it works really well for people with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which I have. So I am looking into doing that, which would mean my fat intake would have to really increase, which I'm not overly excited about. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to approach that yet. But the low carb, high protein is really what I'm focusing on right now. Question number 5 is, have you cut out any foods completely? I have. The first food that I ever cut out really was Diet Coke. When I was younger, my mom, she was addicted to Diet Coke. We used to have what I like to call the Diet Coke wall, and she was a teacher in school, and everybody would kind of make fun of my mom and how much Diet Coke she loved. She actually does not drink Diet Coke anymore from what I've seen, but when I was in, I think it was probably like 6th, 7th grade, I gave it up for Lent and I never got started on it again, and I now Diet Coke. Actually, any carbonated beverages since then, since I don't drink it frequently, it kind of like gives me like really bad belching, and I never really like that. Since my surgery, I have not had any pasta whatsoever, and I really don't foresee myself really having any pasta. I'm okay with like the zoodles. I did try that one video where I did the miracle noodles, which I probably won't go back to, but I really don't miss it at all. I do enjoy the sauce on pasta, and that's really what I eat now when I want some type of like pasta, because that's the best part anyways, right? In terms of bread, I really can't eat bread very well. I have tried it several times, so I wouldn't say I've given it up completely, but for the most part, I don't eat any of that anymore. Anything carbonated, I really don't have anymore. Yeah, pretty much anything with bread or pasta. I really haven't had rice, and I've just kind of given up those things. Those things I really am probably not going to add back, or I really don't even foresee myself. For some reason, bread in my stomach, it just like absorbs everything and like expands, and I just don't like it. Number 6 is, have you ever had success losing weight in the past? Typically with a diet, I would do really well for, usually what would happen is January 1st, that would be my New Year's resolution. I lost 30 pounds once with Weight Watchers, which was really good. And I kept that off for a while, but it was like I hit a stall in Weight Watchers and I just couldn't like lose anymore. And then eventually I kind of just quit tracking my food and gained it all back. I also lost some weight doing Advocare, but I wasn't able to do the full Advocare because once I like took like all their pills and stuff, I would start breaking out in a rash, and so I basically just did the meal replacement and the Spark, and that seemed to work really well. And probably my biggest weight loss was I was getting ready for my friend's wedding, and she was losing weight. We worked together, and another girl was in the wedding that we work with, and we were all really trying to lose weight. And I did a low carb where I ate less than 100 total carbs. So not just net carbs, total carbs daily. And I lost 60 pounds in about 4 months. So that was a really great diet, but it went back to the usual. I kind of quit tracking like I used to, and I slowly gained it back. Actually, the low carb was pretty great because a lot of the things in the low carbs, like the breads, we quit buying breads. That's where I really found out how to cook pasta without a lot of carbs and things like that. So that was kind of the start of me wanting to have this procedure, because I knew this procedure involved that style of diet, and I knew that it was completely doable, and it's probably the one I felt the best on. And when people are struggling to lose weight when they come into the office, or they're in the pre-diabetic range, I always recommend doing that. I felt like it worked really well for me. The biggest diet that probably didn't work for me was the intermittent fasting diet. I struggled with that so much, but now that I feel like I'm post-op, eventually that's something I'm going to want to work into my diet, because I feel like it does work. People do feel great on it, and I feel like it would be completely doable now as compared to when I was 360 pounds. The next question is, do you follow a workout plan? I have a pretty specific life plan. So what I do is Monday I go to belly dance class, Tuesday I go to yoga, then Wednesday, Thursday we typically go to the gym after work. Friday we sometimes go to the gym, but sometimes we just do something just us. Saturday I go to yoga at the park, and then Sunday we usually take the day off. It's more because I'm super busy right now. I'm taking 2 online classes, working, trying to keep up with my belly and yoga. But I think once these classes are over with, Friday, Saturday, and Monday or Sunday, we're probably going to try to work out. I was doing Friday morning yoga at the rec center, and it was just kind of hard for me to get to because I had so much homework to do. But come August 4th, my whole schedule will open up again, and it'll be completely doable. And what I do at the gym is I usually do 30 minutes of cardiovascular, and then I take the mats and I do some strength training on the mats. I do think probably come August when I get this class over with, I am thinking about asking or purchasing a personal trainer. I probably won't have the personal trainer for a long period of time, but probably just a few sessions so I can figure out a routine that involves a lot more weightlifting. I really like to get into that a lot more, and just different things around the gym that I may not be aware of. What are some of your favorite diets? Again, the low carb diet is by far my favorite. High protein, I really don't think you can go wrong there. I'm interested in starting the keto, but we're going to kind of see how that works out. Question number 9 is, how much weight do you want to lose? I really struggle. So when I was first asked this by Dr. Schneider, he goes, what's your goal? And I said 250. I'm right now, about 280, I think 85, 86. So, I'm a little bit over 90 pounds lost. I really think that I am nowhere close to where I want to stop. I'm really still quite motivated to eat right, to follow what I'm supposed to do. So I really don't want to put up a specific number, but he suggested between 180 and 200. If I don't get to that, I'm not going to be discouraged, but if I do get to it, I'm going to be okay with that as well. I'm just going to kind of see how I feel. I did this for how I feel, not because of a number, so that's kind of what I'm going to do. Question number 10 is, do you feel like you're addicted to food? Prior to surgery, I was definitely addicted to food. I felt like I thought about food all the time, and it really did control a lot of my life. Now, I still think about food quite a bit, but it's in a different sense. So I don't feel as addicted. And again, I'm not sure if this is going to go away, because I just don't understand how I could go into surgery, have, one way and come out feeling a lot different. And I've talked about this with some of the doctors that I work with, and they feel like there's hormonal changes that go on that this surgery helps with. For instance, they cut out that ghrelin hormone at the bottom of your stomach that is supposed to stimulate your brain to make you hungry. If you no longer have that going, you're not going to feel that way anymore. Also, I feel so much satisfied way earlier on when I'm eating. So right now, I don't think I'm addicted to food. But again, as my stomach stretches out, I get nervous about that, because my past habits were a complete addiction. I always wanted, the supersized French fries or a plate that had a lot of food. I think I had a lot of gluttony when it came to food. I just wanted the most. And so I feel like before the surgery, I didn't ever chew my food to where I truly enjoyed it, where now I have that, and I'm really picky about what I put in my mouth, because I only have so many bites of it, and I want it to be absolutely perfect. And the last question is, are you feeling comfortable in your body now? Some days I feel quite comfortable and I feel really happy with how I look. Some days I stand in front of the mirror and I'm shocked by what I look like when I watch my videos. I think how amazing. But then you also have your days where you just feel gross. You feel like you've gained weight, even if the scale doesn't say it. So I think like your mood really depends on how comfortable you feel in your body. As a woman, some days we're just going to have our gross feeling days, but then other days I feel amazing. For instance, yesterday we were up in Boulder doing a belly dance, and I am no longer really afraid to show my stomach at all during belly dance, which I never was overly afraid, but I didn't like that part to be accentuated in our costumes. And yesterday the music went out and I had a solo all to myself, and I had like the best time and I really felt good in my body. And then today I've been feeling kind of bloated, just not feeling comfortable. So I don't know if weight loss is always going to make me feel comfortable, but I think overall I'm a lot more comfortable in my body. And I've also, through exercise, have like found myself to feel stronger. When I do yoga, I feel strong in my like feet, I feel strong in my hands and my arms. And when I do belly dancing, I feel so strong in my core. and I push myself a lot more now to like make my body feel stronger. And I feel like before surgery, I never felt like I could do that. And so I feel like I'm giving my body a lot more confidence to achieving things that I thought would be hard. So I have my uncomfortable days, but for the most part, I am feeling more confident. I'm a lot more happy. I feel like I'm going to continue to push myself, continue to strive to be a better person, and that's just my goal. So with this, I get to nominate 3 people. The people I want to nominate are Wasting Downtime. She is wonderful. She lives in Tokyo, and she watches a lot. I think it's Dr. V who she watches, and she's always like incorporating that into her life. And I feel like she's been such a support from day one for me, and I love watching her as well. So you're nominated for this. Also, mystery guest 1948. I always really enjoy watching her. She had a Sadie's loop. She's always upbeat, always has a smile, and it's just amazing. If you watch her first videos to where she's at now, she just looks fantastic and absolutely gorgeous, and looks like she's just loving life. Plus, she lives in Sioux Falls, which is an hour from where I grew up, so I feel like she's from my hometown area. And then the last person is Lisa Pickens, DS Journey. She's quite a bit out of her journey, and that's why I wanted to include her, because she has it all going on. I mean, she's got to be like 2 to 5 years out, and really seems confident with what she's learned, and is very helpful to like seeing how this weight loss journey can affect me, 5 years from now. How I just can never really quit working on it. How I always have to push myself and just keep up with it. And so I hope you ladies have a fun time answering these questions like I did. So of course, if there's any questions that I didn't answer that you have, that you'd like to know the answer to, please comment down below. Otherwise, I will see you next week. One of my best friends is going to be in town, so I'm hoping that we have lots of fun and we can make some fun videos together. I'll see you next week.